Nev Cadell of MyBestRelationship.com, and it is New Year's Day in New York of 2014. Happy New Year! And what I'm here to share with you today are 5 things that you can do to make this year your best year for your relationship. Now, people tend to do the same things over and over again in their relationships and kind of wind up with the same results, or maybe even worse results. People fight, people get angry. Over time, resentment, hostility builds. It gets worse and worse. So what we're going to be talking about today are new things that you can do to get your relationship on a better foot in 2014. In honor of the new year and in doing something new, I'm taking a step out of my comfort zone a little bit as well. And what I'm doing is creating my first video blog, or vlog, if you will. And my elbow patches are giving me confidence to do so. But that's about me. Let's talk about you. It's 2014, and we're going to talk about 5 things that you can do differently to really bring your relationship to a better place. These are simple things. The first is to recognize this. If you're frustrated, if you're angry, if you're feeling hopeless, if you're feeling sad, if you're struggling in your relationship, regardless of how angry or apathetic your partner might seem, they're also struggling. Because you know what? It takes 2 to tango. And if you're not happy in your relationship, your partner can't be either. It's probably obvious that you're not happy. And even if you can't really tell, or you don't know what's going on, or you worry maybe your partner just doesn't care, let me assure you, your partner cares. Your relationship is so important. It affects so many aspects of our lives. So what I'm saying here is you got to realize that you're both suffering. That might be hard to do if you feel like your partner just doesn't care or is just angry all the time, but knowing that you're both suffering hopefully can help give you more motivation to try to fix things. So what I think you and your partner need to do is really come together and just say, hey, you know what, we're not in a good place. We aren't happy, and recognize that the other person isn't happy either. And have the faith that you can make things work out. Now, that's not always true, of course. There are such situations where, you know, you're ultimately better separated, but if you really recognize that you're both suffering here, your partner's suffering as well, it might help take you to the next step. One analogy I like to use when I'm working with couples is to let them know that it's like they're both bleeding in the room. Now, they both kind of, at the beginning when I'm working with people, they're both really angry and upset with each other, and they think that they're the only one suffering and that their partner's trying to hurt them and the partner just doesn't care. But I really want you to know that it's like you're both bleeding here. And when 2 people are bleeding and they feel like the other person is causing these wounds, you know, what you're going to do is just try to like cover up the bullet holes that you have to try to save yourself before you're going to say like, oh, let me help you to your partner. But over there, you know, so far away probably it feels, your partner's also bleeding. So that's really the first thing that you need to realize. You're both suffering. The second thing that you can do is try to team up with your partner and look at what's going on and try to get a better understanding of what happens when you get in fights together. Usually couples get into a pattern that's predictable. And what I mean by that is there are only a few kinds of patterns that take over relationships when they aren't going well. So if you and your partner can, you know, just try to be objective scientists about this, which I realize is very difficult because there are emotions involved, and try to zoom out from your relationship and look, you might find that there's some patterns going on that you guys can try to, you know, get a better handle of, and recognize that the pattern is something that's outside of yourself. It's not, if you can look at it not as you versus your partner, but you and your partner versus this outside thing, you'll be in a much better place. The third thing that you can try is something that John Gottman, a psychologist who has just a very, you know, world-renowned relationship researcher, he's found that doing this is sort of like the thing that helps happy couples stay happy. And what that is to really have a solid repair after you fight. So happy couples, unhappy couples, everybody fights. Hopefully, actually, when couples don't fight, that's more of a concern than when they do. But the trick is learning how to come back together after a fight. So if you and your partner can work out a way to try to repair that fight that much sooner, swallow your pride, apologize, do whatever it takes, maybe have a funny thing that you guys do together, the better you're able to repair and reconnect after an argument, the better off you're going to be, the happier you're going to be. So that's another skill you can work on together. The fourth thing I want to talk to you about is read this book, Hold Me Tight, 7 Conversations for a Lifetime of Love by who said it? Somebody said Sue Johnson was the best relationship couples therapist in the world. I can't find out who that is right now, but I think it's on this book somewhere. Anyway, she is. She's fantastic, and she wrote this book, which is a book that's not some kind of stuffy academic thing, but something that she wrote for couples to really get a handle on these patterns that I was talking about and learn more about how to really repair and reconnect with each other. Bonus points for getting this new book that she wrote. I just got this today, even though it's New Year's Day. I didn't get it in my mail until today, just because I didn't look at my mail yesterday. But this is called Love Sense. I haven't read it, so I'm not going to review it, but I'm sure it's fantastic if it's by Sue Johnson, because she's incredible. Now, if you really want to take your relationship to the next level, there are Hold Me Tight workshops and retreats that are happening all around the world. And these are done by therapists trained in emotionally focused therapy. I've led them in the past, and they are profoundly beneficial for people's relationships. If you go to www.holdmetight.net, there's an option where you can click, couples education groups. And these are held all over the world, all over the country in the US, and I really, really, really recommend that you go check that out. So that's the fourth thing you can do. And the fifth thing you can do is get yourself some help. Certainly going to one of these Hold Me Tight workshops will suffice to that extent, and maybe if you need more help after that, I'm sure the leader will help you link up to a therapist somewhere. But go see a couples therapist if it feels like you really can't get out of this together. Couples therapy really helps, especially emotionally focused therapy. Or go see a relationship coach, somebody who knows what they're doing now, and somebody who's got evidence that backs up the kind of work that they do. So, for example, with EFT, emotionally focused therapy, this has been researched for the last 25, 30 years, and it's been demonstrated to have incredible results. And what I mean by that is 7 out of 10 couples who go through a course of EFT actually repair completely their relationships, which is really, really impressive, and 9 out of 10 couples make improvements. So I really can't say enough about emotionally focused therapy. Sue Johnson created it. And to learn more, you can peruse my website. You can go to her website, which also has a list of certified therapists and trained therapists in EFT by area. Her website is the International Center of Excellence in EFT. That's a mouthful. It's much easier when it's just ICEEFT.com. And my relationship is mybestrelationship.com, and I write quite a bit about EFT and how it can help you have your best relationship. So there you have it. That's my 5 steps or 5 things you can do this year to get your relationship into a much better place for next year. So Happy New Year. I'm really happy that you've made it through this far in my video, and cheers to your best relationship and to 2014 full of love, health, happiness, fortune, success, and love. Thanks.